Welcome to Kuchu Television. Kuchu TV is a media project of the Kuchu Diaspora Alliance, USA, your African LGBT news source. My name, the host today for the program, is Victor Mukasa, Executive Director of Kuchu Diaspora Alliance, USA. And I am with my colleague here, Robert, who works very closely with me. Robert, do you mind introducing yourself, please?
No, I think I can introduce myself.
Okay.
Say thank you for inviting me on this television. I'm called KDA Robert. I'm the Security and Migration Officer and Interim Finance Officer for KDA America. Thank you.
Thank you for co-hosting this program with me. And Robert is actually the one who has been working mainly on our immigration area of work. And last week, just to give you a brief recap, we started on our LGBT refugee series and concentrated on the situation, the plight of LGBT refugees in Kakuma camp in in Kenya. Today, we would like now to look at the situation of LGBT refugees from Uganda who are now currently based in Nairobi. However, we need to get back. We feel that we need to go back a little bit. Why do we have refugees in Kenya, LGBT refugees in Kenya? High numbers. So as a way to start that conversation, Robert and I decided to connect with one of the LGBT activists on the ground in Uganda, working with the communities that are being targeted by the anti-homosexuality law, from which actually some of these refugees have fled. We will be having Kanobana Mwanje Frank, who is also one of the leaders in one of the local LGBT organizations, Youth on Rock Foundation. So we're trying to call Frank, and maybe we should engage him on what is happening in Uganda, because it's really a very tough situation that has caused a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
We're kind of failing to get Kanobana Mwanje. We called him earlier and he was so ready for this call, but hopefully we can get him. He's one of those guys living in the most targeted areas.
Yeah.
The ghetto. Welcome back to Kuchu Television, a media project of the Kuchu Diaspora Alliance, USA, your African LGBT news source. Welcome back, Robert.
Thank you.
So, when we left off in the earlier segment, we were basically trying to reach an activist from Uganda on the ground, somebody who is closely dealing with people who are suffering as a result of the homophobia, which has reached that level of a bigger problem following the signing of the anti-homosexuality law by the president. So, but we failed to reach Frank Mwanje. However, we are so lucky to be aware of so many activists in Uganda, so we managed to reach Ivan, who we are going to connect to the studio right now, so that he tells us what is it that is happening in Uganda that actually gets people to run out of our motherland into strange lands like Kenya and even here in the United States. Yeah. So we'll try and call Ivan,
Yes, please.
see what he has to say, and that's our network in Uganda. It says the number is incorrect, but we will keep trying. It is really important to hear from people on the ground. It gets kind of frustrating, but hopefully we get through this time. I think we are going through.
I think so.
We are getting through. Yeah, sorry about that, our viewers. Our technology is still developing. So, hey, Ivan. Ivan?
I'm listening, I'm hearing.
Yes, you're live on Kuchu television, based in the US. How are you doing?
I'm fine, how are you?
In the studio here with me, I have Robert Karemire. I am sure you remember him.
Yeah.
And basically why we invited you to the show today is for us to get an idea from you who is on the ground what is happening in Uganda that is getting people, LGBT people, to run away from our home to strange lands like Kenya and also here in the US.
Okay.
It is you're live on air. We hear you. Please just let us know what's happening. What are the challenges? What is happening after the passing of the anti-homosexuality law?
Okay, now, since the passing of the anti-homosexuality law,
Yes.
We have many people, many LGBT people have received a lot of problems. Most of them have been evicted from their homes. Others they have been disowned by their families. Others they have lost their jobs because of their sexual orientation and identity. Mothers they have been physically and verbally abused. And most of them, they have decided to run out from their country, Uganda, seeking refugee to Kenya.
Some organization.
Yeah. I was saying that most of the LGBT persons they have found out of the country, seeking refugee in the neighboring countries like Kenya. And so far, I have heard that about 37 to 38 persons are in Kakuma, refugee camp in Turkana.
Yes.
And the others are just scarcity. They are scarcity in the areas of Kenya, like Nairobi, in the frames, just in the signs. So we don't know the real names of those who are in the camp in Kakuma and those who are coming up with the friends in Nairobi, in the other areas of Kenya. But when you come back here in Uganda,
Yes.
so far we have been getting a lot of challenges, mostly especially in some of our members have been disowned by their families. Others have been dismissed from their jobs after they have discovered their sexual identity and orientation. And also, we are facing a challenge of friendly health services.
Yes.
So far, since the closure of World Planet, we are now remaining with only Maki.
Yes.
It's a clinic, in Mulago Hospital. It's the only one now which provides the friendly health services.
That is such a challenging situation. And as somebody who works with youth on Rock Foundation, you're dealing with the youth in the outskirts of Kampala. How are you as an organization dealing with all these challenges faced by the lay Ugandan LGBT person?
Okay, we have been helping our members, those most especially those who have been evicted from their homes, by at least trying to give them what we call safe shelter or safe places.
Yes.
Where they can stay for a while. But again, to me, according to the situation, there is no safe space now in Uganda.
Yeah.
It's only we are in the hands of God. Your time has not yet come to be arrested or to be attacked. Because now this one, it's not a the law of a particular area or a particular city. You see, countrywide.
Yes. Okay, Ivan, in just about 2 minutes, do you have a special message that you would like to leave with the world? Our viewers and listeners would love to hear what you have to say. What do you want from them? What kind of help do you need from them? What kind of support do you need from our supporters?
Okay. Anyway, there is a lot of support we need from people from the world. But the few one most for the time being, we need some funds to identify people who can provide psychosocial support and counseling to our members, mostly because many of them are traumatized. Many of them have been psychologically tortured by the people they are living with and staying with. And another one, we need support to identify more friendly health service providers, in addition to those ones who have withdrawn from working with LGBT community since the passing of the anti-gay law. Yeah.
And does Youth on a Rock have a system, say there is some financial support that comes in to deal with those issues?
Not now, since our organization was still at the early stage of existence, we are still trying to network with so many organizations, and as we are dealing with that, that's when the anti-gay law comes in, which has also added a lot of problems for our visibility locally and internationally. But so far we have been getting some friends on an individual basis and some anonymous who have been providing small support, which have been using for that and for the moment.
Well, thank you for your honesty. And one of the reasons that the Kuchu Diaspora Alliance USA exists is to support and work with people like you to develop those systems. So we will definitely connect and we can see how to go forward with some of those issues. Okay. Thank you so much, Ivan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye, Ivani.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Back to Kuchu Television, a media project of the Kuchu Diaspora Alliance USA, your African LGBT news source. Hey, Robert.
Hey,
are you still well?
I'm still fine.
Well, yeah. We promised our viewers to bring Mr. Nicholas Mawanda to the studios.
Yes.
Somebody who has just fled Uganda also because of the challenges they are facing, that LGBT people face.
Yeah.
He's here in the United States with us and has been invited to be a part of this show today.
Yes, please.
Do you mind inviting Mr. Nicholas Mawanda in?
No, I don't mind. Our viewers, at this time we are going to invite you, our guest to this video tonight, who is Nicholas Mawanda, a gay activist in Uganda and a human rights defender. Nicholas, you're welcome.
Yay! Thank you.
Yeah,
see you.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's Mr. Nicholas Mawanda. Nicholas, do you mind introducing yourself to our viewers?
My name is Nicholas Mawanda. I'm a trans man. I'm a trans activist.
Wow.
Human rights defender. I'm a leader of the community. I'm a leader in a position at the Trans Support Initiative Uganda, where I've worked. In fact, we co-founded this organization with my colleague, Victor Mukasa, who is here with me, and I've been there since the time of birth, and I'm still. In fact, to be in detail, I've been in the movement since the early 2000s, when the movement was, becoming...
Just starting.
When just starting, yes.
I'm also aware that you're doing some amazing work with the General African Trans Movement. What is your role there?
Well, as you may be aware, 2008 was a very good year for us as activists, so starting from 2007. So 2008, I played a huge role in the movement building of Africa, the trans movement that you're seeing right now, rising up to come to the level where the US is. That's why actually I've ended up even here, because I've been very active in the African activism of trans.
Wonderful, amazing. So the Kuchu Television is doing a series on LGBT refugee issues in Africa. We did something on Ugandan LGBT issues in our, I don't know if you saw it, where we featured the story in Kakuma camp in northern Kenya. And today we are dealing with mainly Nairobi, but we want to walk a little bit back. What is causing this massive movement of LGBT people from Uganda to Nairobi in the first place? We just had an activist, Ivan, from Youth on the Rock Foundation in Uganda. He is on the ground now and working with lay LGBT people. And he just told us that even in a few hours, 2 people are arriving from Uganda to Nairobi and are going to be declared refugees in a few hours. We thought maybe it had stopped, but it is very clear it is still going on. What? And he also, gave us an overview of what is happening. He talked about evictions, rejections by families. He talked about homelessness and being fired from jobs. But as a person who has just left the country, our motherland, what is happening there? What is the situation, day-to-day lived reality of an LGBT person in Uganda that has probably caused people to leave the country to Kenya, which is the easiest place to go, and also to Uganda, I mean to the United States, where we are, and to Europe, where some of our colleagues are. It's yours, Mr. Mawan.
Thank you very much. I think that people fleeing to Kenya, actually I think we have most of the LGBTIs in Kenya is quite a huge number, Ugandan LGBTIs. However, we even have more other people going to different countries. We have people who have gone to Rwanda. We have people who have gone to South Africa. They are seeking asylum because of the law. We have people, I've gotten reports, so some 2 guys are in Namibia in a refugee camp. We have people who have fled to Sweden. And to tell you the truth, I've actually helped, through my organization, I've helped about more than 10 people to go to Kenya. However, the reason why they are going there is the reason is the main issue for me, why they are leaving. The law itself being passed by, signed into law by our president, without considering the impact, what it would bring, the impact it would bring out, was such an issue. Given the fact that, for me, before I left, I was working around, giving support to members who were disowned by their own families that you would think would protect them. But then just being disowned because, okay, the law is gone, is passed, and because I know you're gay, so now you're no longer my family member, you're no longer my child. I worked around about 3 cases of trans women who were beaten thorough by their own families and disowned. I worked on a case where a mother of a trans woman was beaten to a sick bed, and the trans woman was disowned and had nowhere to go, and I had to help. Even while I am here, just minutes ago, because I've kept in touch with activists on the ground, and even some of my members have been talking to them, and they have told me, 2 of them, they have survived being burnt in their homes. Waking up, one woke up with their partner, they were in the house, and while they woke up, they could not open the door. They had been locked from inside. Put 2 padlocks on their door, and on the door was a 5-liter jerrycan of petrol, just ready to be lit on for them to burn in the house. Thank God, the landlord came. He saw a window was open and they were there calling for help, and he said, "What happened? I have not seen you," because he was used to seeing them in the morning. At around 6, they would go to try and work. And he was like, "Today you're not working?" And they were like, "No, we woke up long ago, but we can't get out." And he realized there was a jelly can. Just a few minutes ago, I was talking to another activist who has been physically attacked because he's been housing 5 LGBTIs in his home.
When were they attacked?
This is just weeks ago. And this one I've just been talking about 3 minutes ago. Someone telling me that they've also just survived that kind of incident.
Like today?
Yes, 3-liter jerrycan on the door. And then, before that even, there were a series of them being attacked. He's been housing 5 LGBTIs in his home. Because there's so much of displacement. There is so much. I have had issues of people being kidnapped. And then the kidnappers are asking for money. And some of them are masquerading as officials, security officials. But these people are not dressed in uniforms, police uniforms, but they are claiming they are security agents. And then afterwards they are claiming ransom in a sense. People have been intimidated. But all these things are not talked about because maybe they are not happening to top activists. For me, that is the real challenge. People think that those who are just running away to go to Kenya, to go to Rwanda, to go to Namibia, South Africa, to America, are just doing it as a luxury. They are running for their lives. That's the matter. They are running for their lives. They've had a lot to lose. Here I am in the US. I can't see my son. I can't see my family. I have worked so hard for TSIU to be in place. This is something I love to do. Even before I came into TSIU, I've been an activist. This is my struggle. This is my calling. I have reasons why. But I feel so sad that even those who are still in Uganda, they are struggling even to live. They are struggling to live. The issues are deeper than what we think. The issues are deeper than what we see.
Tell me something, Nicholas. Have there been any murders, any deaths?
Yes,
since the passing of the anti-homosexuality law?
There's been death. I don't know if you've heard of someone who tried actually to commit suicide.
Yes.
And after they succeeded in taking poison, afterwards they died. There's also been beatings of people and they die afterwards.
I heard of a case in Kabalagala or of a trans person who was summoned somewhere, and then after that they beat them up terribly and they were rushed to hospital and they died from there.
Yes. And you know, the thing is also, given the fact that our organizations are based in Kampala, many cases are happening within villages. And now that there is a law, there is quite a big limitation for operations. Many organizations right now are not operating to their fullest. They're actually underground. I don't know if you've heard that the case that was in court, the Lokodo case, the famous Lokodo case and Attorney General case, Lokodo, or the government won. And that would mean, that would imply the right to the freedom of expression, the freedom, the right to association is being tampered with. Even with the huge blow of the anti-homosexuality law, there is still more restriction of even people engaging in human rights and them having the right to be what they want to be or to associate with any group they want to associate with. So those kind of limitations are actually bringing even more blow or barrier for us even to get more information to people who would like to know the clear numbers of statistics or statistics of the cases that are happening. Yes.
I get it. Thank you so much, Nicholas. This is very, very helpful information. Just now that, I mean, you just left the country, what mechanisms have been put in place by the activist community, by organizations, to ensure the safety of LGBT Ugandans? What has been done so far about the need for psychosocial support? What is happening with that?
I think that there are two reasons. Well, the mechanism that I would say, there is a security committee, a national LGBTI security committee that has been combating some of the cases. But this is a committee that is based in Kampala of LGBTI individuals, meaning that even these individuals, if they went deep in the country, they would also be attacked. And like I said, the limitation is that we are based in what? The city Kampala. The other thing is, given the fact, even with the organizations, we have about more than 28 LGBT organizations. But right now you may find that about 6 are in operation, not even fully batch operation. Secondly, even the allies that we had before, some of them have pulled out because of the law. They fear going to prison. So the mechanism is not also very clear, because even when you look at the leading activists, yes, they are trying what they can, but they are responding to so much, given that even themselves are at a higher risk. So right now we are in a very vulnerable position, and with less to counter the threats. So for me, I feel that there is need to have a kind of response, even with allies who are legally existent in Uganda, but are willing to die for the struggle of LGBTIs in Uganda.
Are you a member of the security committee?
Yes, I am a member of the security committee.
Okay, great. Robert,
Yes, please.
you've heard what Nicholas is saying.
Yes, I've heard. Yeah.
But we've also lived in Uganda.
Yeah, we've been.
And we worked on the very issues.
Yes.
And what I remember is that you were the chairperson, actually the coordinator of the security, the National Security Committee.
Yeah.
Has anything changed from what you hear? And how did you deal with these issues? What did you do to help people? And did it work out?
Yeah, we really managed to help people in that time when I was the coordinator of the security team. The work was well done, and we helped. I remember by that time I had Nicky Mawanda as one of the security team personnel, because he was our spokesperson. We managed to work. Really, the work was good, and we helped people. When we had people used to come to us, report their cases, we assessed them, and we had the money. We have the donors who used to give us some donating money, and we could help after seeing that you have a problem and you really need intervention. We would go in and intervene for the locations, for social security, social.
You're too Americanized now. You're talking about social security. So psychosocial support is what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and we usually also to partner with the Eastern Horn of Africa for the human rights defenders, and sometimes they may remember sometime when we even request them, like, as we do this thing for the human rights defenders, at least we can mix with some other grassroots human LGBT, so that they can also get this chance. Yeah, we requested it and it was allowed. Then people were going in. We used to do it in groups, we do it in personal, and it was working. But then people would be getting problems, people would be taken to the police and would follow them to the police. But remember, by that time the law was not it wasn't
yet law, it was just
it was still a bill.
Yeah. So
we would always go challenge it. We are human rights defenders, and like, I'm a human rights defender, I'm here to stand for this person's rights. But now I feel like in Uganda there is a lot of chaos, because like Mr. Nick told us about this couple which was locked in the house, prepared to be burnt with the petrol. I have a feeling like they could not even have a chance to call police, because it's like police will come and light it so fast than even those who are going to do it. That's what I think. So I have a feeling like even if people are there as the security team, they've told us now, I think they have limited time to work on these issues, and the law is also facing them. They cannot do anything because the law is there in the ground. You see, we used to have cases. Remember, your case was the first case in LGBT in Uganda, which we won, and it was a very big case. We had the case which we opened about the government, about the LGBT people to be put in the HIV and AIDS policy. We won it. Yeah, we won some other cases. I think there were like 3 cases. But
the Rolling Stone case?
Yes. But then you can see there is this absurd story of saying that we lost this case, which was the big case for Kodo, who came and interfered with the workshop we had. I remember it was one of this workshop. I was there. I was still in Uganda. But it's a surprising news to hear that the government won that case, because it was against the human rights issue. So it looks like in Uganda there is no longer rights for human beings.
No human rights for anyone.
So for us, like, who are fighting for human rights and other human rights body organizations, I think we need to call them, like, they should really give hope and too much efforts to Uganda, so they have their bill. But I think they need to work upon this issue because it is going beyond.
Well, the president of Uganda is going to be here in Washington, D.C. in the first week of August. Prepare your submissions. And our viewers, we still have Nicholas Mawanda here and Robert Karemire. We will be coming back to now explore the plight of those refugees that have fled Uganda because of the issues that Nicholas and Robert have raised and have fled into Kenya. We are going to look at their situation, and if we are lucky, we will have some of the refugees online. Thank you very much.